When you smile, your avatar is smiling, and when you don't understand something, your character will express this.
The first political party led by an artificial intelligence. My favorite quote for today: we have mothers and fathers and normal people.
Everyone in the organization should make it their mission to fall in love with Horizon Worlds.
As soon as you watch one stream longer than 2 minutes, you will have your For You page flooded with exactly the same type of content.
There we are. I didn't find the button. A little bit new music. Chris, you didn't hear this last time, but since last time we have a little bit new intro and new music. So for everyone, hi and welcome to episode 35 of TechReview. Every 2 weeks we gather to discuss the hottest topics in technology, innovation and social media. And on camera 5 today we have Dan. On camera 4 today, this is Chris. On camera 3, this would be Vincent if he were punctual today. On camera 2, this would be Henrike. She might also join later. So today we are in a little bit smaller round than usual. And on camera 1, this is me. Hi, I'm Tarek. We are a collaboration of Ideas Engineering, Free Tech Academy and Upday.com. You can watch us live and record it on YouTube. But if you prefer to listen to us and our wonderful voices while you are working out or driving a car or flying through space, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast and all major podcast platforms. Let's start with the news. Today I see that Dan is going to start with Meta Quest 2.
Headline? Yes, this was a headline which kind of got me going through the week, and Meta had this big event and showed off the current state of their work and revealed the Meta Quest Pro in this event. And what they basically shared is a headset, a VR headset, which has the opportunity to let the outside world come through the cameras which they have on the front, so that you have a more AR approach in this headset than with the Quest headsets before, which is quite interesting because they kind of disconnecting from this VR idea a little bit with this headset and slightly going more to an approach of a Microsoft HoloLens, where they want to combine to MR. And what I thought was the most interesting aspects of this whole presentation were these two bits. One, how they created an avatar, so how easily you can create with a smartphone your own avatar, and how nicely it is animated. So when you use the Quest Pro, you have the possibility of using face detection or face expression detection, which allows you to be in a VR or an AR room. And when you smile, your avatar is smiling. And when you don't understand something, your character will express this in the gesture and in the facial expressions, which I think is super important.
How does the thing see that I'm smiling? I mean, I understand that it might have like cameras inside the headset to see my eye movements, but my mouth is out down here. Does it have like a mouth camera?
Yeah, I think it has a camera at the bottom of the headset. Nice. To see that. Also, what I think is really nice is that they have now like these controllers, what you see on the image, which don't need some kind of external source to know where they are. They have now cameras included, so you can move them around even behind your back, and it still gets the motion and the tracking done really nicely. So all in all, what I heard was really positive, but I know that Christian heard also a lot of criticism about this headset, and I'm really curious. Maybe we can go through a few points we just talked about before we started the recording.
Yeah, I should have started the stream earlier, then you wouldn't have to repeat yourself.
No problem.
Chris, any opinions?
Yeah, sure. I mean, so apparently Meta is on the right track, like with the Cambria and with the form factor and everything they put into this nice gadget. Nonetheless, you hear shortly after the Connect, you heard like also a little bit, as you said, a little bit of criticism, like for instance talking about the pass-through mode. So apparently it does not really fulfill the expectations regarding quality. So it's not that crystal clear as it would have been expected. Then another rumor that was going around is that the depth sensor, which actually had been announced, seems not to be part of the glasses yet, at least. So this is also something which at least was a rumor and seemed to have disappointed some people. And last but not least, also regarding the avatars, I'm totally with you. So it's amazing what Meta is currently doing there in the creation of avatars. And I think this is also one of the key elements next to the eye tracking and face tracking component, actually founding a really working social VR platform. So this is key. Nonetheless, what they showed with the legs, one heard that was a little bit like manipulated to look good, and that it's not really available in that sense as it has been showed. So there had been help to create these legs, but nonetheless, I mean, we see in which direction Meta is going to, and personally, I think that this is the right track, right? So the mixed reality pass-through mode definitely is key. And as said, also like the social aspects based on face tracking, the avatars, that's key as well. I think that sooner or later, probably, hopefully, also the depth sensor will be in there. So, I mean, they are on the right track.
What I think it's super interesting to see, like how more and more brands verge to MR away from solely doing VR, or to get to this mixed reality version and make it better and better. What I thought was also interesting to see the partnership between Microsoft and Meta to also include it into the work and into the workspace together with Teams, and have workspaces together where your avatars can share virtual space. And we could have all of this here with Quest Pro in a virtual space, which would be quite interesting. And I think especially in this context, gesture and facial expressions are key to have a great experience.
Yeah. And I'm really curious to see how the development of the merging of the real elements and the virtual elements will be in VR headsets and AR headsets, because I'm reading that the AR headsets become a more, what's it called, like stronger darkening of the background, so that you can better see the virtual elements that are then created in this world, maybe even like dynamic darkening. And at the same time, we see in the VR headsets that this not pass through, but showing of real images in your inside screen, so that you can virtually look through the glasses and see like your real room where you are in. They come closer and closer. So you get AR in VR headsets and VR in AR headsets. And this is really, really interesting. And I'm really curious to see if at some point of time, both will just merge into one product, and there will only be like one headset that you put onto your head. And then it's like either darkening completely or have like only some specific virtual elements in there.
Yeah, it's curious which kind of approach will win at the end.
Yeah,
and it's super interesting to see.
Yeah. My personal bet was always that AR is going to dominate the world, because this is what you're going to have in your everyday life on the street while you're walking down there, and have like this head element in front of your eyes. But at the same time, I believe that VR is easier to implement, and so I expect VR equipment to be highly reliable and high quality way sooner than the AR headsets. And so one could imagine that VR is going to dominate the market earlier, but I think in the long term, AR is going to be the mainstream devices that people are going to have. But actually, very interesting. I also have a Meta link. I'm not sure if I'm going to be the next one, but the thing is, I'm also always impressed that so much money is invested in by Meta in these infrastructures and software and everything. And the sad thing is that the media is concentrating right now on focusing on the bad things. They see it's not developing fast enough, or the quality is not evolving as fast as we want, and so now everybody is just smashing down on Meta. And on the one hand, it's of course justified, because it is not as shiny and perfect as one would expect. But then again, it is new software, new technology. And so we have to be a little bit patient until it is really straightened out.
Yeah, we had that also like before we got live. That is, I mean, although some of the criticism might be founded, you also have to see the strong-mindedness of Meta and Zuckerberg, with which they really put billions of dollars into their platform, into the technology, even if they lose parts of that money big time at the moment. But nonetheless, if that would not be there, if that development, if that invest would not be there, then we would not see many of the other investments in the immersive development which we currently see, and in some kind of immersive future, right? So from that point of view, one definitely should be, well, kind of thankful actually for what Zuckerberg and Meta is really doing against all odds, one has to say, right? So this is really amazing stuff. But I also have an article on that. So maybe we can.
So it was a big event.
So Meta is dominating TechReview today. Nice. Okay, let's see what we have next.
And now, this.
Did you already know the new transition, Chris?
Not yet. So I still have the HSV transition
but
in my mind.
But it looks different now. Look at it. Look at this.
And now, this.
Yeah.
Different.
So this I've seen that the first time now.
Okay.
So I still have, like, in the back of my mind, the HSV transition. So this one is definitely much better.
Welcome, Vincent.
Hello,
You only
and I'm
missed the
sorry
first
that
article.
I'm late. I am, however, very excited.
Yeah, we did not skip you yet. We are only at the second article.
Oh, was it? What was it about?
The first article was Meta Quest Pro VR headset hands-on. What $1,500 does for the Metaverse.
I hope you showed the clip, the intro.
No, I didn't. Should I? Did we miss something important?
I don't know if it's in the article, but it was ridiculously fancy for what it can do. I'm sorry. I hope this was the summary of the article too.
Okay, let's first jump to the next one. Maybe because we are going back to the Meta to the Meta world a couple of times, so maybe we are going to stumble upon this one. But I definitely want to talk about this article, which I read on Vice.com, and this is about the first political party led by an artificial intelligence. And I really love this article because it reminds me about the novel Quality Land. I'm not sure if any of you read Quality Land, which is a very, very successful German novel. And there we have, it's like a vision from the future, for the future, and there is a political party led by an artificial intelligence. And now in Denmark, we actually have an artificial intelligence which is leading the Synthetic Party, which is a real political party. Their leader is Leader Lars. That's the name of this AI. And their idea is that the policies that this party follows is generated by this AI, and it is learning from fringe political parties in Denmark, meaning that all the small parties that are not represented in the parliament are taken into the learning algorithm and their programs, and they used all parties since the 1970s, not all parties, but all of these fringe parties, like the corner parties, and they used their policies to train this AI. And their idea was that they have 20% of the Danes, they are estimating, who do not feel represented by the major public parties. And so those can come together and follow this fringe party, this synthetic party. And this is quite interesting because their approach is also very experimental. What they found out is that their party program is in some areas controversial, because if you take all fringe parties together, they do not form like a consistent image. And they said this happens automatically if this artificial intelligence is learning without like discussing and compromising and simply learning what these party programs want from it. And sometimes there are some extreme point of views that are not fitting together, but they say this is then very creative way of motivating people to think about these things without washing it down in compromise and these things. Yeah. So far, they are not in the race for a political seat because they need, I think I read 20,000 signatures to actually get allowed to run, and they have not as many. I think. What did they write? Like 2 or something. So they still need to get some signatures. But I really like this idea that this group, they are called Mind Future Foundation. It's an artist group that they actually created the system. Which is also available on Discord, so you can actually chat with leader Lars and help forming like his opinion by inserting information that you want to be represented in there. And so, yeah, this is happening in Denmark. Would you vote for an artificial intelligence that is running for a seat in your government?
I'm super surprised by the approach. Normally, I'm used to the approach of learning from the best and not learning from all the parties who are not represented in the main interest of the Danish people, and building a party to represent like what didn't work the last X amount of years.
I wouldn't agree, actually, to be honest. So maybe it's 20% in Denmark, but look at the rest of Europe. Look, especially in Germany, you have many more people not voting. The number is really big. So all what you have now in the parliament there, I mean, I think it's even not representative. So is it roughly about 50% or so of the people who have voted at all? So half of them.
It's a bit more. Germany has a very high. I have to jump in. Sorry.
How big was that? I just have in mind that
I think
60s. Okay, then.
But this is very high compared to a lot of other countries. Actually, exactly. Germany is quite good.
Yeah, but even 60% is not.
No, it's the shit.
That 40% of the people have not voted at all because they are frustrated or everything or something. So, and if you would actually be able to collect them under one roof of whatever, then you would be the biggest party in the government, in the parliament. So this is indeed some kind of very I would call it substantial development we see here. Maybe it's just the beginning, and I would also not vote for an AI, but think of a party which is forming based on the influence of an AI and just putting some puppets in front of in the first line, some politicians who actually tell what the people want to hear, but being controlled, I wouldn't say controlled, but maybe influenced by whatever the AI actually is collecting and information, then you definitely would have some kind of threat to our current democracy. So I wouldn't mock that down or laugh about that. This is, from my point of view, it can be a development or the beginning of a development of one of many streams where we see AI really changing our societies, our political systems, our the way we have like warfare, the way we have like social interactions. We have had so many examples where the AI art. Think about the DALI project, everything. So many aspects where we have AI changing fundamentally basic conventions within our society and our living together, that if you take that all into one, you really could get the impression that something is about to change slowly but surely, but there is a start.
Well, I would still argue and a bit laugh about it, since an AI is only as good as the people A creating it and B what kind of information it's used to learn how you develop the model. Because for example, the chatbot from Microsoft is a really nice chatbot, which became a racist and was quite insulting towards women because it learned from humans through interactions.
It's too simple.
And I would argue if this AI is learning on facts and on on history and how concepts work and how politics work and how human interactions work, yeah, fine. But if I can use a Discord bot to make this thing a very racist machine, I would, I wouldn't vote for it at all.
But as said, that's too simple. Like, think about the Google bot. So there we had really people believing that there's some kind of mental entity behind that. They were really convinced that they were talking to a person or personality. So again, we are not, as said, I'm not saying I would vote for an AI, which I see and understand that there's an eye behind that nowadays. But I mean, if you do an interpolation with tendencies like these for the next 1, 2, 5 years, I definitely see a development here. I definitely see an endangerment of social conventions which we had so far. And also, if you take that into consideration, that at the same time we have a process of losing social conventions we had so far based on the current developments which we see, like wars and people are drifting away from each other socially, and also the social pact which always had been there between generations and people in society is loosening more and more. And if you have these tendencies, everybody's living in their own bubble. We had that many times. And if now this new stream, this new tendency actually would grab into this development of dissolution, then I could imagine that, as said, that some new kind of development takes place, and something which we might not like in the long run.
But I think that this system is not there, what you're describing right now. So Chris, I completely agree with you that in the future, I definitely see this coming, and at least as some kind of like recommendation system for party decisions or something like that. What this artist community is creating right now looks and feels more like an arts project, because this, let's take as basic data everything that we have from these fringe parties, it is not consistent. And I don't think that anybody who's actually reading what this thing is then representing feels represented by this. Because if I imagine, like, take the party programs from the very far left and very far right parties, throw them together, I don't know if anyone would want to vote for this, because it might be like the worst from both worlds. And so I'm not sure if this particular approach that they are going with this is successful.
Also here, I do not agree. I mean, I think you were the one who actually brought a fun video like last time, where one person from the far left and one person from the far right actually were so close to each other that the circle actually touched each other's ends, so that they were more or less at the same opinion. And this is also what we see nowadays on various demonstrations, people from left and right walking together in one group. So, I mean, it's not that far from reality. And as said, I don't say that this experiments of artists is something where I would say, okay, now this is a start. But I just was talking about the whole tendency of AI development we see in various aspects of society, of culture, of economics and whatever. And so this is what I would call a start, not now, but as said, if you do the interpolation within or over the next years, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, then I could imagine that something has started now.
I would agree in the sense of recommendation engines and support in research, which you already see in some legal offices that AIs take over research, stuff like this as well. But voting for a party which then rules the country means giving up responsibility for how you live, how you organize, what's right or wrong. And giving this into a hand of an AI, you really must take responsibility to a certain degree to do that. And I kind of don't see humans doing this. Or even if you say, well, put human puppets in front of it, there would always be the question of, are they really puppets? Are they really following the AI? How much pressure can this AI build up behind these puppets? to force them to certain decisions and so on.
I really like your belief that you still believe in, so to say, the good in all mankind. I hope you're true.
Maybe there will be another approach in the future where you do not have like one AI controlling a party, but several AI entities being members and voting members of the party, where you have maybe 50% of synthetic people voting within the party, so that you have actual different voices with different trained data sets within this party. This might be an alternative, and you have the people being members of the party as well, and so they vote like as equals.
But why should we do it? That is like the driving force. This is an art project and probably curiosity driven. Why should we do it like seriously?
Don't you think that, I mean, the question, as said, I love your belief in the good of all mankind, but I also think that the question, why should we do it? Sorry about that. From my point of view, is a little bit naive, because we can. So this is what usually happens when people do something. It's not because it's for the best of the world or of mankind or everything. So they just sometimes do things because they can. And I mean, why would we lead wars, for instance? Yeah. You can answer that question for yourself. So things happen, bad things happen. And of course, if there is a potential like with AIs, people will use it for their personal improvement, power, money, all the classical aspects why people do, things which are, I'm 50-50. With AI, it's like with everything else, right? With every new and big technology. In the end, it's not the technology which is good or bad. In the end, it's the person who uses that technology for a purpose. And that can be good, that can be bad. Even that is not objective. So very often depends on the perspective somebody else has, that you have, that the person has who uses it. So, but nonetheless, the general question and the general statement I think we can do is that the medium as such is neither positive nor negative, but in the end, it's the purpose you use it for.
Okay, last word goes to Arnold. If our tech review is valuable for you, please give us feedback with a like or a comment. That would help us tremendously and it wouldn't cost you anything. And if you don't want to miss the next episode, just click on the subscribe button. And now, back to the news. And now
this.
Next one is Chris with the same article that I brought. Okay, then we save some time. Chris, please go ahead.
Okay, this is exactly what we have currently spoken about already or teasered already. Everyone, it's about Metaverse, Horizon Worlds, right? And it's about a statement that Meta's VP, Vishal Shah, actually wrote to in an internal memo to the employees, saying that everyone in the organization should make it their mission to fall in love with Horizon Worlds. Right? So why was that? Yeah, we have spoken about Meta Connect, which we've seen last week, the new Cambria, everything, of course, Horizon Worlds. And so it seems that the Metaverse flagship actually suffers a bit from quality issues at the moment. And this is because of the team developing Horizon Worlds hardly uses their own creation, right? And Vishal Shah, he wrote about that, I think in the middle of September in an internal memo saying, and this is a quote, "Many of us are not spending much time with Horizon, and our dashboards show this pretty clearly." And why is that? Why do we love the product we've built so much? Why don't we love the product which we have built so much that we use it all the time? And the simple truth is, if we don't love it, how can we expect our users to love it, right? So this is, of course, a very valid question. And then two weeks later, he wrote exactly that quote from the title: "Everyone in this organization should make it their mission to fall in love with Horizon Worlds." Right? So loving the product is kind of being forced here. And this is, as we have like stated before, for a platform that Meta spends billions and billions every year to build its vision of the metaverse. And unfortunately, one can say that this impression that is being stated here of reluctance, so to say, regarding the product is also reflected in the user numbers. So with its launch earlier this year, so we have read that Horizon Worlds reached from a start 300,000 users. And the prognosis, so to say, was that they wanted to have 500,000 active users by the end of the year. And right now, they have actually cut that number down. They have nearly reduced it to half, to 280,000, as far as I remember. And currently, right now, as of today, Horizon Worlds has less than 200,000 active users. And that is even less than at the launch, which is quite impressive in a negative way, of course. And especially that is a lower number than the competing products, right? Like Rec Room or VR Chat or some platforms like these. And this is also very important then regarding other numbers, regarding the worlds or the number of the worlds. They have like more than 10,000 user-created VR worlds in Horizon Worlds. But it seems that only 9% of those were really visited by more than 50 people. So this is what you could read about the currently usage, and most worlds were even not accessed at all. And if I could also as an own impression give my experience, which I had in Horizon Worlds every now and then, is that indeed many of the featured venue spaces, which you see then in the beginning, and you could jump there and have a look there, very often they are either simply empty or not or interesting enough actually to captivate yourself for the length of a time, right? So you get there and then you have a look around, but it's not like you say, oh, I will spend the rest of my day here. What on the other hand is quite interesting, and that was really irritating a bit to me, is that there were many, or very often you meet children in Meta on various locations where I've met children for whatever reasons. So irritating. Yeah, and so the conclusion is that what we had beforehand also when we were discussing in the beginning, that it still seems to be a long way until Meta actually will reach those announced billion users at the end of the decade. And then we'll be able to found the digital ecosystem, which we are all dreaming of. But as said, on the other hand, one really has to say, and this is what I said in the beginning, if Meta, first of all, if they manage to reach this goal sooner or later, then they will, of course, be the king on the dance floor. They will have made it then. And I also have to say that I wish that to Meta, because if Zuckerberg, if Meta would not do what they are currently doing, if they would not burn all this money, then of course we would not see all the developments in the immersive environment which we see currently, and which are actually working for a immersive future, which we are all maybe not all hoping for, but at least me and many other people are looking forward to. So I'm quite happy that they do what they do, even if it burns money at the moment. But I really understand the strong-mindedness of Zuckerberg, and I really like that development. So let's see what happens in the future.
Yeah, as I said, I brought the same article. I was also stunned by this. On the one hand, first of all, the one thing that I picked up on this is they are writing about dog fooding dashboards. I'm not sure if you're aware of what this is. In software engineering, we always say, eat your own dog food, in terms of if you build a service, use your own service so that you can be like a consumer and you feel the same pain as the others. So this is like the eat your own dog food principle. You do not build software that you by your own never use. And so that they have something like dog fooding dashboards that shows how many employees are logged into this platform is really amazing. But on the same time, I try to be very positive about Meta and the whole Meta universe, the metaverse that they are building in there. But having an article like this from The Verge is, of course, very, very hurtful, because it shows that they really have these internal problems, that even their own people do not like the product. Oh, this is of course the interpretation. They do not like the own product that they are building, and this shows lack of passion in there. You want people who are really passionate about this project, so that they fight to make this a better product. And of course, it could be that they don't have enough time, because they spend all their time working on this project, that they can't log in and test it, right? But I don't know. Yeah, you do not want to hear this. And I could imagine that Vishal Shah really hates himself for writing these memos, because you have to expect these memos to go out there, and then it is really, really bad publicity if you write these memos and everybody's going to read them.
But it brings me back to the question that... Oh, sorry, Vincent, go.
No, you go ahead.
To the question I asked before, it's like, why should you be there? And I think they haven't figured out why should you be in Horizon, and why should you invest with the hardware and then your time. So because you have other solutions right now at hand, which are way cheaper to probably serve the same causes you would use Horizon for, meeting friends online, etc. And even meeting friends online, either you have a chat like we do at the moment, or you play a game together. And I think I'm really curious how Microsoft is pushing their MR approach forward, not just with HoloLens, but they have so many strong licenses in the background, something like Minecraft, where they can provide a why for such a world to go into and to interact with this world. And they already kept thousands of players worldwide, millions of players worldwide with these offers.
What I think is super important is that, yeah, Dan, what you're also saying, like, why would I go there and what should I do there? This is a question we haven't fully answered, but not only because the product is shit, but also because we haven't answered fully what this for us is in the end, what kind of immersive experience we want to have there. And therefore, I think it actually is quite true to say it's their mission to fall in love with the product, because only if we use it, it can get better. I mean, this is on the one hand very true. On the one hand, it's a very weak argument of saying, hey, we didn't put in the work. Please use it so we can make it better. But then again, I think that because this is so undefined, because we don't know what we really want to do in Horizon worlds, for example, I think that it is very valid to say, please use this tool as much as possible in order for us to define then where to go. This is not an excuse to make a bad product. And I think we discussed this, Chris, you said we discussed this a few weeks ago already. It is very true that the experience you have there is so much more limited to what you expect before using it. So, but I do see the point.
And the problem, of course, is also like the marketing beforehand, right? You have all these streamlined videos and everything is really is shiny and looking nicely and smoothly. And then you get into Horizon Worlds for the first time, and then you're a little bit down to earth in regards to what your expectation was.
Yeah, especially because we know that the Metaverse lives, first of all, for interconnectiveness. So you probably will see in the future that we have our virtual meeting room, where when we meet, we have this virtual whiteboard and virtual post-its and everything. And it's perfect for this particular purpose. And we can somehow interconnect this with our, Minecraft server and move our taskboard to the Minecraft world or something like that. I don't know. But there you have each individual room with this individual purpose, and it was probably a poor decision to have this generalistic Horizons where you can do everything, but not specifically for one particular purpose, as this flagship app. And flagship means usually you want to have everybody in there, but you can't do anything particular very well in there. It's too general, I could imagine. Yeah, and so from product perspective, I don't know if it was a very smart move to use this as a flagship app. For example, what we learned in the past, Beat Saber, like this very, very simple VR game where you use these laser swords to smash cubes. Very simple, but it's one of the most successful games because it's so much fun and it's so simple. Yeah, it's everybody can do it. Yeah, and something like this would be an amazing flagship app because everybody loves it, and it shows in a very, very particular way what you can do with these technologies. And if the purpose was to show what you can do in the metaverse with legs, for example, you can do this in any kind of worlds. And so I think they actually followed the wrong path by being too generalistic without this clear purpose.
What would be interesting is,
No, go ahead.
Would be a virtual dining room.
Yeah.
Like having a Mensa when you have a team meeting, and normally you would have like your coffee meetings or your XYZ meetings, and you have like a virtual dining room where you can then sit at home, everybody at home, and you still have all these conversations you would have at a normal lunch, which you share with friends or family or colleagues.
I think the problem with something like virtual Facebook, if you want to put it that way, is indeed the general approach, the very generalistic approach, right? That it's not like with Beat Saber, it's just one use case, but that you really have a broad spectrum of many use cases. And this is exactly the catch-22 thing. On the one hand, if you want to reach a market of 1 billion customers, if you want to replace something like Facebook with something like Horizon Worlds, then of course we have to take this approach, like with all these use cases, many social use cases, also gaming and also business use cases. But you have to have this broad spectrum of use cases. But then, of course, the risk, and this is what we see currently, is that if you offer that from start, you will not have the amount of users from the beginning to fill all these use cases and all these events and venues. And so what we see is what we currently see, that many of the venues are more or less empty and have like less than 50 people in there. And so, and then if people get in there, it's the same mechanism which we saw like many years ago with Second Life, that people get in there, they look around, nobody here, so then I go out and never come back. And if that happens, then of course it will be very difficult. There's very difficult actually to get the worlds filled with people, which you need to get the whole thing going, right? So, and this is exactly the catch-22 thing. On the other hand, to be fair, I have to say, when I was in when Connect started, I was in Horizon Worlds, for instance. I saw the keynote and a little bit of the first presentations from Horizon Worlds, and I was in that venue place, and then there was this big monitor and lots of people actually were hanging around there. This is something different than like just having a video conference and looking together at a 2D video screen. You really are in there, right? You really have this immersive 3-dimensional feeling in there. And also then 2 or 3 days later, I was in another venue where there was kind of a party going on. And that was really nice. It is something, it's totally different than just a 2D video conference. So you really can talk to people, you can interact with them. There was some kind of pub quiz or so going on, and people were guessing for I think for animals or something, right? So that was really fun. I mean, you cannot believe there were 30 people or so, and they were talking, and everybody was like guessing what it might be, and then they were laughing about it, and it was really a good mood. And this is something which you would not have in 2D. And this is something where I thought, okay, it might be working if they would improve it a bit regarding the quality of what you're currently seeing, the quality of the whole environments, and a little bit of the features. And then it could be working, right? And if they on the other hand are able actually to reduce the size and the weight of the glasses, then we might be going into the right direction. And the price, of course, I mean, 1,800 euros is a little bit too high. This was also like not consequent from my point of view, that they have these the target group. You see like family fathers and family mothers and normal people, right, doing games in VR. And then on the other hand, you have like glasses with 1,800 euros. So that was something which, from my point of view, was not fitting. So let's wait for MetaQuest 3. But nonetheless, this was more for the business case from my point of view. There we have other issues. But nonetheless, I think the whole development is getting into the right direction. It's just a heavy start.
My favorite quote for today is from you, Chris, where you said you have mothers and fathers and normal people.
I don't know if I said "and normal people." What I just meant is that were normal people in the promotion videos.
We'll check it out in the stream after. I'm curious.
And now, this.
Vincent.
Yes, which one?
Let's see.
Article, I mean. Not
Social
Vincent.
Media Today.
Oh, yes. This is a follow-up article for something I brought a few months ago, actually. I think I brought it... No, not months ago. I think, yeah. I think like the 3 times ago or something, I brought that Twitter is finally enabling the editing of a post. And they've playing around with that, have been playing around with that in several countries. And what they did was they said, well, let's do it first for our Blue users, for our premium users. And they even increased the price for the Blue subscription because they said, well, the most powerful feature and most requested feature in social media is here. And then they launched it. And what we now see is that nobody cares. Nobody... Okay, you can edit a post now, that's fine. It's also very limited. You have, I think, 10 minutes or 30 minutes, and in that time you can edit the post 5 or 6 times. And the post history is still available. You maybe recall from the last time I spoke about this. So it's not like it's gone. On the other hand, for now, I don't know how many years we use Twitter as a big social platform, but I mean, since that beginning, we just were able to, it's not the longest Twitter post, so it is very easy to just delete and start over. And yeah, actually, just looking at the time here, this is it. Summarized, Twitter Blue users were able to use the feature, are able to use the feature, and literally nobody cares. We see not a big increase. We see some people subscribing to it, but that also might be just a hype. But in the long run, no, this will not replace advertisement, Mr. Musk.
Yeah, my first thought was exactly maybe it's just not a good argument to pay for a subscription, right? To pay for premium service simply to have this feature of editing the tweets. But then you said even the existing Blue customers are not using it. Then yeah, obviously nobody actually wants to have it or need it. Or
No, I need to correct myself. The idea or the argument that editing is not something we see being used. It is more about people who actually subscribe to Blue for that. It is not based on the usage of the feature. So I don't know. Maybe Twitter Blue users are editing like crazy everything they tweet. This I don't have any data about, but we can see that what Twitter anticipated with actually making the subscription more expensive, that people will be interested in this and will subscribe just for that feature. And I mean, this is one of the biggest arguments, right, for them to actually offer such a subscription. I mean, why would you want a Twitter Blue subscription? But one of the reasons is because you can edit your post, the one feature everybody requested at Twitter. And we see that there's actually no spike. So yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Sometimes people do not know what they want. You ask them, they answer, but then they don't use it.
Yeah, but maybe not for $6.99.
Yeah.
I wonder, like, if in 2 years, when you evaluate what the people are really changing in their tweets, what will be the second thing after changing typos? And paying $6.99 for changing typos is, delete it and write it again.
I'm sure that this feature will be highly and frequently used when it comes to the free membership. As soon as this is I'm sure that this feature will be a blast as soon as it's available for everybody, because then we will exactly do that and nothing else.
Yeah, I think so as well.
And now, this.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just kind of thinking about the different social media platforms where I can edit posts. Oh, not social media, but for example in Teams or in Slack. And it's most of the time it's a typo or, oh, there's one more sentence I would like to share.
Do you remember the most famous tweet of all times, the Kofefi? Anybody?
Yeah.
Nobody?
Nope, not at all. What is that?
Donald Trump was tweeting like somewhere in the middle of the night or so. I think it was just Kofefi, Covfefe or something like that. And like millions of followers were receiving this tweet and started to interpreting what he was trying to tell the people. It was just like, I don't know, like a butt dial or something like that. It was just Kofefi.
Lost the bet.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, Dan, you can directly continue with.
Yeah, on the behalf of social media platforms and rich people buying them, I stumbled across this and I thought it was really interesting. Kanye West is buying Parler, or is interested in buying Parler. And if you remember, Parler is the platform which got kicked off AWS during Trump time because it was a collection for right-wing people who organized the riot on the Capitol, probably through this. And since Kanye West's, I think, Twitter account got blocked as well due to some of his posts, he decided now to buy his own social network. And to be honest, it's less that Kanye West is doing it, which concerns me, but this trend of super influential people buying these kind of platforms which is used in society as a demographic instrument to exchange voices, to have discussions, not in a perfect way, don't get me wrong, but that single individuals take over these platforms, which are proven to be controversial, is a at least questionable tendency. But I'm curious what you think about that.
Yeah, I think these platforms are losing a lot of drive when they start to fragment this market very, very much. Because at the end, you have this very, very small bubble of people using Parler and another small group of people using the Truth app. And maybe, I don't know, Facebook is shrinking so much down that it's only like a very, very small group using Facebook. And I'm very annoyed by this fragmentation of the streaming market, for example. At some point of time, I had Netflix. And now I have to have Apple Plus and Disney Plus and Paramount Plus and this and that and so many streaming services. And this really annoys me that you can't have one subscription and really have the majority of the products that you want to have. And if I open up my phone and I have to check 10 different social media sites simply to stay up to date, then we will start seeing something like these aggregation apps that are then connecting like your Truth account and your Parler account and everything again into one. Yeah, I really don't like it. And yeah, that's my personal opinion from the consumer's point of view. From the other point of view, one last thought about this. If now Kanye West would be in our round, he would probably answer with, yeah, he wants to stay on Twitter and he do not want to fragment the market on purpose, but he's forced to do so because he is censored on Twitter. And so he does not have a choice but creating his own realm. Vincent.
I just wanted to agree with you more on the first thing than on the second thing you said and talk about Be Real and TikTok Now. I think, Tarek, we met on TikTok Now a few times and then I deleted the app and I hope you did too.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the second tap on TikTok, or the TikTok app currently being TikTok Now, but without having TikTok Now unusable, that's a whole different discussion.
Yeah,
we need to have with TikTok at a certain point. But however, what I wanted to say is that this fragmentation in the end, I believe, will end up in a whole discontinuing of a lot of features that actually are quite nice. But then in the end, they are very unhandy to use, right? Last time I brought the example of Instagram having the same feature, and with one update, they could easily wipe out Be Real and TikTok Now at a glance, because this is much more feasible in such an environment like the Instagram app. or Instagram as an environment than having its own freaking app or having a whole different platform. But yeah, and I think it's the same here. In the end, we'll see different platforms, and we see that people own them. And in the end, this will be too complicated, because either we're going to use, I mean, maybe you remember the MSN times where we had different chatbots. In the end, we had a website, I forgot the name, that had an API in every of these chat accounts, so you could chat on one account. Or right now in the messaging market again, where the EU makes everybody to use the same protocol, so actually we stop blue and green bubbles. But generally saying that in the end, this will lead to us just simplifying it again, just as you said, Tarek, and all of those platforms will go away again. So I think this is just ridiculous, because this makes our life much harder, especially because it is just individuals playing around because they are very eccentric in the way they want to address things.
I'm not sure there either. So especially if you see that from like a different angle, right? So again, I could imagine like with Twitter and Musk and Trump with his own social platform, and now this one. So that again, from my point of view, this is an indicator for the separations and the splittings which we see in society, right? So, and this is, so to say, the next level of cancel culture, right? So if people are not being heard any longer, or feel that they are not being listened to, then they just leave, and then they do their own realms, their own social platforms, whatever. So again, an indicator which for me shows that society is splitting up in many different parts, and those parts are not talking to each other any longer. They just get their truth, where they think the real truth, so to say, is being claimed, and so this is kind of a bunker mentality, right? And this is again something which, from my point of view, is really dangerous to the within our society for the cohesion, right? So that people really stay together. People don't stay together any longer. They just get around their flag, but their flag, and there are many flags out there. And people don't care for each other any longer. And this is, from my point of view, really dangerous. And this, by the way, brings me back to the first article which we had with this Danish AI social party thing. This is another outgrown, so to say, of this development, this AI thing, just in the beginning. But let's talk about that maybe in 5 years' time, and then maybe we really have AI parties which collect all these people around their various flags, and which don't belong to mainstream, and then they put them all together. I wouldn't exclude it.
I just saw another very important piece of information that I did not know. Kanye West is now legally known as Ye.
Yeah.
Is this a thing?
I think.
It's like with Prince and Symbol?
Yeah.
Well,
but better, of course, because it's Ye. Did you say Ye?
I think so. I have no idea.
I did not know that. That's news. Nice.
If you take one thing away
And
from
now,
our podcast
this.
today, then
No, I keep interrupting you, Dan. Sorry.
You're muted.
I am?
No, it's
Dan.
me.
Oh, okay.
So if you have one takeaway for this whole hour, then Kanye West is now Ye.
Yeah, that's the title of this episode now. Kanye West is now Ye. And now we have Chris.
Again.
A very morbid sounding article.
But we are already over time.
Yeah. Do you want to take it to the next one? Next tech review? Or?
Oh, no, I don't care. Okay. I mean, it's a short one, I think. Would have brought us death. Yeah, and this is about HoloLens, actually. But about the military version of it. And I can remember that we have spoken about that beforehand somewhere. And we're wondering how something fragile like augmented reality actually should be used out there in the rough environment of a battlefield, right? So this is something which still does not really fit in my mind. And then indeed, I was stumbling about this headline we have here, would have brought us death. And I thought, well, yeah, it's probably because the AR HoloLens experience is not stable enough to keep people alive in the battlefields. But it's not like that. So that is a little bit misleading. So interestingly, this headline does not refer to the stability of AR. But according to Business Insider, where the article comes from, who actually has a source from an Army report, they said that the tester there stated this it would have killed us because of the bright display lights of the glasses that they were visible hundreds of meters, so to say, in the dark of the battlefield, and that, of course, you can imagine, makes you a target quite easily.
Yeah.
And so as a result, Microsoft actually has fixed that. And nevertheless, even afterwards, it seemed that expectations for the system were still not met, right? So I read on the article, it said that only 2 out of 6 evaluation procedures were passed. And then again, the main points of criticism, besides the display lights, were 2 others. It was the high weight, so that apparently restricts the freedom of movement, and the narrowed field of the vision due to the glasses. And so I think, okay, this is more or less mechanical aspects, right? It is less related to the functionality of augmented reality, but it is only the mechanical aspects, right? The restrictions of the freedom and the narrowed field of vision. So what I concluded from that is that apparently the AR thing as such seemed to be working, even under difficult conditions, but that the peripheral aspects, the mechanical aspects, were what made the whole thing not a success so far. But as a bottom line, I would say, nonetheless, this seems to be a good indicator statement for the future of augmented reality and mixed reality, because that actually seems to be working. And I mean, if I would put that into the normal use cases, not the military use case, but the everyday use cases, then I would say this is nice, because the technology as such seems to be working. And if you would not use it in a battlefield, then this is quite promising from my point of view.
Yeah, the army would say, yeah, but that is exactly what we want to do.
Yeah, but as said, this is just one use case and not the use case I usually deal with. So I would be happy if it would be working in everyday's life. And if that is the case, then for me, the article, although with a negative headline, is quite positive in the bottom line.
Yeah, right.
In a nutshell.
I see the army eunuch sitting in a circle and say, we can't go to battle with this, but at least we can log into Facebook Horizon, Meta Horizon, and build sandcastles.
Yeah, I mean, they can do team building in there or something, right?
Now it's your turn.
Nice.
But it's interesting if you have like a night operation during the night, and you as an enemy just can look for this bright eyes wandering over through the forest. You know, it's a pretty good target.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not bad.
And now this.
Last one for today is Vincent.
Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting. I brought 3 today.
Oh, okay.
But looks like one didn't get in. Unfortunately, the one I wanted to present the most.
Okay, you can send it into the chat if you like.
Yeah, put it into the chat.
Absolutely. Hang on. So the article not visible right now, but the article I brought actually is quick, but it's very interesting. It's about TikTok. And it's about live streaming. So I don't know how much you watch streams on TikTok, lives. I don't, because I mostly find them irritating, annoying, not very useful. And as soon as you watch one stream longer than 2 minutes, you will have your For You page flooded with exactly the same type of content. So I don't know, I did the mistake of 2 weeks ago watching somebody playing the Modern Warfare 2 beta and also the new Warzone map, and now my whole live feed is YouTubers and Twitchers. So it's annoying. But no, also, I mean, when you swipe a lot, right, you will see that there's a lot of extremely cringe lives. And it's interesting because it is exactly the way TikTok used to be a few years ago. When you opened up TikTok in 2019, it was the weirdest platform. There was so much cringe content going on, and people, you were asking yourself, why did you upload this video? Why did you perform in this? It's the same on live. I challenge you, go to live and go, I don't know, swipe 60 minutes. You will encounter the weirdest stuff. And one of the reasons for that is because people are underage. I'm sorry, that's how it is. TikTok realized the same, and what they did now is they raised the age from 16 to 18. I don't know how they check this. I never got asked by TikTok. I never got asked by TikTok how old I am. However, I have to admit I only try to stream with a verified account. So maybe this is the thing. I don't know, Tarek, if you ever got asked by TikTok how old you are.
I don't recall.
Or to prove it. Yeah. So the idea is to have have streaming now only from the age of 18 and up. And also the streams happening there will be in an adult only category. I don't understand what does actually mean, because to be frank, every stream would then be adults only. But I think, as far as I understand, it is for the users. So only a user with a specific age can watch this. I'm still thinking that it's not. I'm still thinking that it's still on the community guidelines. So we're not gonna have like a Tetrabate kind of situation there going on.
So it's not OnlyFans and TikTok.
No, I don't think it is. But the key takeaway, and then we can stop talking about this, but I found it very interesting. TikTok is raising the bar, 16 to 18. Not an issue for us here on the call, but maybe for somebody listening. And definitely something against cringe talk.
I think it's very interesting, and I'm really looking forward to see what will happen there, because as I understood, the big power of TikTok was always that their main audience was between 13 and 28 or something, meaning that if they add restrictions like that they kind of close the doors for half of their users if the base of TikTok is that young. That's a very interesting approach.
I think what we see here is TikTok is just like any other, and it's very important, not social, but any other entertainment platform. It's professionalizing. TikTok is getting more and more professional, 10-minute videos, live stream only for adults. I'm sure that we will see something like a rise also in the quality you can upload videos now. I think that we will see that the upload quality will increase over time, and we will see that TikTok will become much more entertainment. And I think the core reason for that is advertising. TikTok is financing itself via advertising. Something created by somebody underage, especially in the live sector, is not brand safe, therefore not marketable. They see that the numbers for live usage is rising, and because it is like a linear TV or a live stream somewhere, you know that you catch viewers, especially there. So I think that we will see that the quality of the content you can upload and stream will get better, and then we will see much more ads.
Funny thing is that everything you described and said regarding TikTok like 2 years ago, and it was the most strange platform and everything, reminds me a little bit of what we see with Horizon Worlds now, right?
But without the users.
And let's wait 2 more years, and maybe we have the same development as with TikTok over the last 2 years. So let's wait and see. Fingers crossed.
We will. Maybe not Horizon fucking Worlds, but maybe maybe some other but honestly, maybe some other platform, we will see that. Chris, I'm so sure that you're right with this 100%. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. So we are over time. Thank you all very much for all your contributions, and I'm looking forward to see you back in episode 36. Have a beautiful evening and rest of the week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.